Are you ready for another incredible update for Pan That Palette? I don't think you are. I don't think you are, because oh my goodness me, this palette just keeps making me smile because I keep comparing it to last year's Pan That palette, which was the Modern Renaissance from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and that Pan That palette progress was so slow. You could barely see any progress every month, but this, we're only officially 2 months into this, and you know what? I'm having a great time. The progress on this is amazing. I'm so happy to say I have hit one new pan and I've expanded one of these pans so much. Honestly, I keep smiling. The thought of filming this update is making me so happy. But just before I show you all the progress that I got this month, definitely like and subscribe because I am going to be panning this palette all year and hopefully finishing a bunch of shades in here. I cannot wait to see what this looks like at the end of the year. Maybe a finished palette. Who knows? Who knows? The rate we're going, possibly. I'm so excited! I do upload every single day here on my YouTube channel, and today I'm wearing actually my Pan That palette. So you may be thinking, that's taupe. This doesn't look that's taupe. Now I have 3 shades from the Blue Moon palette in this palette because I love blue. Yes, I love taupes, but blue is like my happy colour. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to replace 3 of these shades just because 3 of these shades were very, very similar. They're kind of repeat shades. I thought they'd be a little bit difficult for me to pan 2 of the same shade. So I decided to add some blue. So an extra challenge of trying to pan blue eyeshadow. I mean, who am I? Am I crazy? Probably. So this palette has been officially Pan That palette since the start of 2025. However, I was kind of low-key panning it throughout the latter months of 2024, so some of the uses may be more than expected, but just please keep in mind that I was kind of dabbling in it at the end of 2024 and then officially got into things at the start of 2025. So without further ado, I'm just going to open this palette up and share with you the progress pictures. So this is what this palette looked like at the start of the year. You could see that there was no pans, which was crazy. I was absolutely baffled. Even though I had worked on it for a few months at this point, I really hadn't got the motivation to really sit down and use it completely. I was having a really bad panning time last year and my motivation was just gone. But this is what it looked like last month. You could see we had hit pan on the shade Bedrock, which is in the space of Constrictor, and I'd also hit pan on Pebble Beach as well. So in 1 month of dedicated use, I'd hit pan on 2 shades and I was so excited about that. And this is what it looks like today. I have a brand new pan in the shade Lumi, which is in the space of Python, and I've also expanded the shade Pebble Beach so much. And of course we have already had pan included, which is in the space of Bedrock. So what do you think? Originally, my goal for this month was to hit pan on Lumi, which I have done. It might be a little bit hard to see because the pan is a very similar colour to the shade. It's such a pale shade, but I have indeed hit pan on it. And my other goal was to hit pan on this shade, which is called Snake Eyes. Now, you can see I've got a massive dip in here, but sadly, I have not been able to hit pan on this just yet, which is really annoying, but you know what? We're halfway there. I've hit one of my 2 goals, which I'm really, really happy about. But look at how good this palette looks now. Are you kidding me? It looks amazing. So I'm going to go through all the shades, how many times I've used them. I'm going to go through a few looks and then I'm going to go through weights and then I'm going to talk about goals for the next month at the very end. So let's start with Boa. This I actually can't believe because I still don't have pan on it. However, I feel like for the first time this month, I actually have hope that we could hit pan soon. This is the most firmly pressed eyeshadow I think I've ever used, but if I tilt the palette this way, you can definitely see we do have a big dip in here. Now, how many times do you think I've used this in total? Bear in mind, we've not got pan on it. I'm about to tell you. Sit down, because you're going to absolutely fall back. I've used this 16 times this month for a total of 88 uses in the project. Are you kidding me? Still no pan. This is just going to keep going and going and going and going. It would not surprise me if I'm still working on this at the latter half of the year or even December. Like, it would not surprise me whatsoever. It is so firmly pressed. However, one good thing about this is because it's just a lid setting shade, it really doesn't take much brain power to use. I just set my lid at the start of every single eye look and go from there. It's not a shade that I have to sit down and think about how to use. I just use it. So, I mean, swings and roundabouts, you know, every cloud has a silver lining. I'm just going to keep going with this. Hope for the best. Next, Pebble Beach. I have expanded this pan so much. So I had a bit of a kerfuffle, a little bit of a predicament last month. I was working on this shade Rock Steady, which is a really beautiful cool tone shade. And I'd also hit pan on this shade here. Now, this shade is really loosely pressed. It's like the opposite of this shade Boa. Pebble Beach is so just... You look at this and things just like start to fall out of it. It is scarily loosely pressed. So I didn't want to have pan on it and then leave it because then it's at a greater risk of smashing. I don't trust this shade. This shade, every time I open this palette, I'm thinking, please, please, can Pebble Beach not be smashed every single time? So I was thinking, well, I'm going to use these two shades like either or. I'm never going to use them in the same look. So I asked you guys, what do you think I should work on? Do you think I should work on finishing this shade or hitting pan on this shade? And a lot of you guys said, work on finishing this shade. So I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to stress about it anymore. So that's what I've been doing. I've really been focusing on this shade, Pebble Beach. This has been my main shade this month. I've used this 10 times for a total of 24 uses in the project. And I'm going to continue to work on this shade as much as possible. I want to get it finished because then my anxiety can chill out a little bit. I think that was a good call though. You guys made the best decision. Work on this so I don't have to worry anymore. So this shade, Lumi, technically it says Python, but these three shades were the three shades that were replaced from the Blue Moon. So this is actually called Lumi and it is one of my favorite eyeshadows. I'm wearing it on my inner corner today. It is like a really pale white to blue and it's so stunning. And I have hit pan on this. I'm hoping you can see, or if you can't see here, I'm hoping you could see in the progress pictures. I'm so excited. I hit this pan a few days ago. I've used this 8 times for a total of 19 uses in the project. And I mean, another pan. What's there not to smile about? I'm so happy. I'm so proud. And I have no fear. This will be done by the end of the year. I'm almost certain of it. Let's move on to Slated. Now, I actually have not used this at all this month, and that's because I've been so focused on trying to hit pan on the shade next to it. They are different, however, normally the like basic look that I go for is this in the outer corner, either Pebble Beach or Rock Steady to blend that out, and either one of these on the lid. So obviously it's been this one, so this one has not been used. It's a really nice shade though. It's really sparkly, like definitely more intense than Snake Eyes, but Slated has just been put on the back burner for now. I'm not worried about it. It's not like it's been neglected because I just forgot about it. There is a reason why, so I'm all right with that. So 0 uses for a total of 18 uses in the project. Next, we have Snake Eyes. I have used this 10 times this month for a total of 29 uses. Now, this shade, you can see, I mean, the dip in this is pretty big. So I actually think I'll be hitting pan on this coming month. Now, could I have hit pan on this? Yes. I could have always got a brush, a bit of a flat brush. Maybe that's not the best example. Like a brush like this. I could have always got a dense flat brush and gone in and then used it on my eyes like that. And I probably would have hit pan on that, doing it that way. However, I'm just using my finger because that's how I like to use it. I don't want to prioritize hitting pan on a shade over enjoying how I use a shade. I hope that makes sense. So I just use my finger. I could have hit pan if I dug in with a brush, but I'm not going to do that just for pan's sake. So it is being worn down pretty evenly. You can see that there. And I mean, the dip is huge. So hopefully in this coming month, I will have pan on that. Next, we have Starry Eyes, which is in the shade Place of Cold Blooded. This I have only used 3 times this month, but I mean, I'm not too fussed. It's got a little bit of a dip in it. you can see kind of there. But I said before that I'm very aware that the blues will probably have a lot less uses than the neutrals, and that's okay. I think as long as I hit pan on this by the end of the year, I think I'll be good. I'll feel good about that. I don't feel like I need to finish these blues. I just want to get some use on them and get some love on them. So 3 uses for a total of 6 uses in the project. I'm not too fussed. I understand it's not great, but I mean, at the same time, it is a blue. It's a little bit difficult to wear every day. Let's move on to Rock Steady. I've only used this 2 times this month for a total of 22 uses in the project. But again, that's because I was really prioritizing Pebble Beach, like I said before. I love this shade. I've got no issues with this shade, apart from the fact it's very similar to Boa in the fact that it is firmly pressed. As I said, I've used this 22 times and there is barely even a dip in this. So that has me a little bit worried, I can't lie. I'm a little bit scared of when it comes to hitting pan on this. I think hitting pan on this will take a very, very, very long time. So yeah, I'm a little bit scared for when Pebble Beach is completely finished, I can't lie, because then it's this time. And I'm gonna put that off for now. I'm not gonna think about that for now. I'm not gonna stress myself. That's a few months off. I don't have to think about it. Next we have the shade Bedrock, which is in the shade Place of Constrictor. And this, as you can see, already had a pan on it. I do use this in my brows every single day, and I do use it as an outer corner shade as well. So I've used this 16 times this month for a total of 95 uses in the project, nearly 100 uses. And we've just got a little pan on it. I think it has expanded since last month. Let me know. What do you think? I think it has, but yeah, this is going to be a tough one as well. Hopefully I can have this done by the end of the year. That would be amazing. But if not, that's okay. And finally, I have the shade Clued In, which is in the shade Place of Bedrock. And this already had a pan in it when I started the project. However, I have used it 3 times this month for a total of 5 uses in the project. So they're the usage. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I am. So let's talk about some looks. I only have 2 looks to share with you. So I have this look, which of course is done with the 3 blues today. I actually started with a black, then I blended it out with Clued In, then Starry Eyed, then I put Lumi on the inner corner because, I mean, I just love Lumi on the inner corner. I've been using Lumi on the inner corner even when I've been doing all neutral looks, which has been really, really nice, just as a little bit of a pop. Like I could put Cold Blooded on the inner corner and then put Python over the top. However, I've just really liked this very, very subtle blue hint. I don't know, it's not too much, but it's quite nice. It's something a little bit different. And also on the lid, I did do a cut crease today, and I used a shade that's in my Project 10 uses. It's this like purpley pastel roses shade, and that is all over the lid today for a little bit of a purple hint. So what do you think of this? I really, really like it. And then I have this look. So this picture is actually the same as a picture that I showed last month in this update. I've been doing this pretty much every kind of like work day or just like subtle day. I've been starting with Pebble Beach, which is this shade here. Then I've gone into Constrictor, which is the deepening shade just on the outer corner and on the lower lash line. Then I put Snake Eyes all over the lid, and then that's pretty much it. That's been my everyday look recently. I've really, really liked it. I've not been getting bored of it, which is great because I really want to continue doing this look. I very rarely find a look that I can do all the time, but this look has been really, really nice for me. So I will talk about weights and then I'll talk about some goals. I was nearly going to talk about goals then, but I'm going to hold myself back. I'm going to stop for a minute. So last month, this palette weighed 91.78 grams. This month, it weighs 91.46 grams, meaning in the past month, we have used up 0.32 grams of this, which is a lot less than we used last month. But you know what? That's okay. I'm not too fussed about that. I feel like the visual progress kind of makes up for that. And then that means that in total, since the start of the year, I have used up 0.88 grams of this palette in just 2 months, which is amazing. That's nearly a gram. Next month, I will have used a whole gram of this palette Does it say how many grams each shade is? The total net worth is 9 grams, so 1 gram each. We'll have used a whole shade up by month 3. How crazy is that? I'm so excited. Yeah, that makes me even more excited. Did I mention I'm excited? So, goals for next month. I was gonna say maybe hit pan in boa, but I don't think we'll be able to do it. The dip is big, but I don't think it's big enough to hit pan on, so let's forget that. Pebble Beach. Could I finish Pebble Beach? Maybe. I don't know. I think I could come very close to finishing it if I don't manage to finish it. So I'm just gonna say I want to use it as much as possible. If I manage to finish it, that would be amazing. If not, it's okay. I mean, it's only month 3. I'm not going to stress too much. I really want to hit pan on Snake Eyes. I want pan in this by next month. I think I'm going to be able to do it. As I said, it's got a huge dip in here, so I'm really not fussed about that. And you know what? I think I want to use Cold Blooded maybe like 10 times. Should we do 10? Maybe I could do like a pop of blue on the lower lash line on a few everyday looks. That could be really cute. Yeah, I'm going to say 10 times. Let's get this ball rolling a little bit because these blues have been a little bit neglected, can't lie. So what do you think of this palette? I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy. Do you think I'm going to be able to finish Pebble Beach next month? I don't know. It is very, very thin around here. So maybe it is so kick-uppy, it's ridiculous. So maybe, but I'm definitely going to be hitting pan on Snake Eyes. And I cannot wait to update this palette next month. This has been such a weird experience because, like I said, last year was awful for Pan That Palette. And I remember making the slideshow of Pan That Palette last year. And like, there was a millimeter of usage every single month. And I was sat here, I was like, why am I even doing this? Because I'm so rubbish at this. And looking back, it's just because I was so unmotivated. This palette really motivates me. I actually like this palette. Who'd have thought? Pan in a palette that you actually like? Wow. But I'm so happy with this. And it just really proves that picking the right palette is pretty important. But again, I feel like that's common sense. So guys, please learn from my mistakes. If you're getting to this point of the year and you're already bored of your Pan That palette, you're already starting to be a bit like, oh, I don't know, just leave it. I did that last year and I pushed through. It is not worth it. Choose a new Pan That palette, be happy, and just don't torture yourself, okay? That's my little piece of advice. But this is it. This is where I'm gonna love you and leave you today, guys. I hope you have an incredible day. What do you think of my progress? How are you doing with your Pan That palette? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down below. I hope you have an incredible day, and I will see you tomorrow for a brand new video. Bye bye.